I'm joined on the line this afternoon by GM Dolynny of the Edmonton Oilers. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us this afternoon.
Well, it's my pleasure there, Brendan. It's always great to talk with media, especially around trade deadline time, and kind of give you guys some insight into what's going on in hockey operations here north of the border.
Can you elaborate more on this trade with the Chicago Blackhawks? Sources close to your team have leaked your decision in terms of your goaltending situation in Bakersfield.
Well, Brandon, it's been a difficult year for sure. We have had to decide between two young, absolutely phenomenal goaltenders that we brought into the organization at the draft last year. Following last season, we kind of got a mandate from the owner that said, hey, we need to stockpile assets as well as take inventory of what this team has and what it doesn't. So we've done that, and of course, Vince Byron and Lee Capaduca are both key pieces of the inventory we have for the Edmonton Oilers this season. And so we've had to choose all season long between one or the other. Who do we keep? Because obviously you can't keep two goaltenders of that magnitude plus have Jonas Korpisalo in the system all at the same time. And we can't forget about Stuart Skinner. We have way too much talent in the goaltending department for this team. We actually had to do a lot of trading of our backup minor league goaltenders from the ECHL and of course the AHL to clear space for Lee Capaduca and Vince Byron to come in and play this year. So it comes with a lot of thinking, but we've decided we will be trading Vince Byron at this year's deadline. Vince has been an absolutely stand-up guy for us in Bakersfield this year. I must say I have the best head of scouting in the NHL. I'm not even going to lie about that. I'm not sure if your audience is aware, but his nickname in our boardroom is X-Snipes. And you see in a second where I'm going with this. He sniped us this deal with Chicago. But a little bit more history on how we made our decision in terms of between Vince and Lee. Both of them have played together and against each other. Like, these two kids are all-American goaltending kids. They played in every major tournament for Team USA and have been absolute stars at every level. They've played against and with each other since they were 12 years old, but in our meeting, both young men were mature enough to accept that only one would be staying long-term in Edmonton, in Bakersfield, yada yada, in the system more so. And Vince, being 20 years old already, has drawn a lot of interest from teams. And X, he does a lot of great scouting for us. He runs an absolute bang-up shop for us. You've seen what he did with our scouts to get both Lee Capaduca and Vince Byron into the system at the draft. He worked a deal with Chicago, and that's how we're going to proceed.
Well, I've been told by sources that you're targeting a young talent from Chicago plus some extra pieces. Can you confirm that young talent is Adam Boqvist?
I can't confirm anything right now. The big thing is, with a trade pending, until it's confirmed by the NHL, you're not going to get details like that from me. You are more than welcome to call back anytime after the trade goes through with Chicago to ask me about what I've received in return. I'm basically giving you this courtesy call to just give you who Chicago will be receiving in return should they decide to proceed with a trade with us.
Who else is coming with Vince?
It's a matter of what Chicago will require to make the deal we want work. We obviously, to make our roster work, we're hoping to take back at least one NHL player from Chicago. That's as much as I can give you there. So we're going to have to give up one of our roster guys in the trade as well. I can't confirm who it will be. I have not spoke to that player yet, so I will not be commenting on anyone specifically. But yes, we're hoping a roster player. We're just trying to work that final piece of the puzzle with Chicago. It's on their end. It's open to them. So unfortunately, I cannot give you any specifics on who I will be giving back to Chicago alongside Vince Byron. The only reason Vince's name is out there is, the pressure that's been on our city, on our team this year, following drafting both Vince and Lee in the second round last season.
All right, well, thanks for taking the time to answer this call, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the season.
Thanks, Brandon. I hope you have a great run with Chicago, and all the best the rest of the way home and for you guys as well.
Thanks, you too.
Oilers fans, as you heard in that interview on Hawks Game Center, the pregame show with the NHL 19 Chicago Blackhawks in our NHL 19 Edmonton Oilers franchise mode. Me, GM Dolynny, we've got some dealing to do here at the trade deadline. I thought long and hard about it, but GM buddy of mine, well, you know what, he is a former GM in the NHL himself, but he is more so now my head of scouting. X-Snipes, he came through with a clutch trade here. It's Vince Byron, who by all accounts has been an absolute beauty for us. Yes, he's struggled. He's had a shutout. He's played 9 games. He hasn't exactly had great success in the AHL by any means, but he's been a first-rate guy. Unfortunately, at 20 years old, he has fielded a lot of calls on him, has X-Snipes, and now it is time. We ended up trading Vince Byron. You guys were calling for it back home, that the Oilers had to trade one of the 2 goalies, either Capaduca or Vince Byron. We've made our decision. You see, Vince Byron, yes, he's been a losing goalie at every step of his career, but I think we've got a great gem in this for somebody. Somebody's going to get an absolute gem in terms of Vince Byron, and that somebody is the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, who's coming back? You saw Brandon with Hawks Game Center ended up asking me that very good question about who are you targeting, and then very poignantly asking me about a defenseman in question in Adam Boqvist, and that is as simple as it comes. Boqvist is coming back to the Edmonton Oilers. Whether Chicago Blackhawks fans like it or not, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to pull off this trade. X-Snipes laid the foundation, figured out the key pieces, but we're going to try and make sure we get this guy back. You see, 58 points in 58 games played, a plus 22, 0 penalty minutes, 25 minutes time on ice, and his stats look absolutely off the charts. This is what we're looking for in a guy like Adam Boqvist on defense. He's 20 years old, so this is the Gretzky trade 2.0 kind of sort of when you look at what we're giving up, but you give what we're getting back, and it's looking very good. Another 20-year-old, a franchise guy. Unfortunately, he is only rated elite at this point, but that's okay. We're going to take it and run with it, and what we are doing, I did mention, there are some other parts to this. Yes, sir, there are some other parts. We're taking the Chicago Blackhawks' second-round pick. This is just security, right? Vince Byron was a second-round pick, so let's not kid ourselves that we can take that back. And we are trading away Matt Benning. Now, the reason behind trading Matt Benning, he's having a plus year, right? He's having a beneficial year for us, the highest year he has had in my tenure as general manager. 5 points, 4 points, now 12 points. We've moved him to two-way defenseman. Chicago obviously needs a leader on the back end. Matt Benning is that guy. He wants the salary to be a leader, so you might as well make him a leader, and that is exactly the trade we're going to propose to the Chicago Blackhawks. It was originally just Byron for Boqvist in a fourth. Now it's Byron, Benning for Boqvist in a second, and we're going to see if this one goes through. Trade rejected. Okay, that's no worries, because here's the thing. We're willing to grease it, and we're willing to take a third-round pick. It's just a matter of we want that second to get back what we lost in Vince Byron being a second-round pick. See if we can find another franchise goalie and get ourselves going, but propose the trade still rejected. That's fine. That's all right. Like I said, we're not too concerned. The Blackhawks don't have a second-round pick or a third-round pick in 2021, but I will take a 2022 third-round pick. See, they're ready to get rid of it, so that should be good. Trade rejected, still off in terms of the trade value. That's all right. We will move up to a third-round pick. Like I said, I am willing to negotiate this trade. This is a big trade for us, and maybe even dropping that third-round pick and taking Boqvist and Byron and getting rid of Benning. He's got to go, right? So, okay, you know what? Easy said, easy done. I'm willing to move off that demand of that third-round pick. Let's go. This is the negotiation. It is what it is. Trade accepted. The Chicago Blackhawks, I accept your offer. We are good. We are gold, ladies and gentlemen. The Blackhawks have accepted our offer. We go to roster moves and make sure we get our lines in order. We have 20 of 21 skaters. Now, why is Boqvist in the minors? That isn't going to work. Yeah, confirm his call-up. Of course, confirm his call-up. What are you doing, boys? What are our directors of personnel doing in there getting Boqvist into the minors? I'm not exactly sure. But now we get our chance to go for that cup run with Adam Boqvist in the lineup. 89 overall defender. Yes, we absolutely love what Adam Boqvist is about. Now that gives us Clefbaum and Boqvist. That gives us two Swedes on the top defensive pairing in Edmonton. Did Chicago kind of take us for a loop there? Yes and no. We get the 7th round pick back. We get Adam Boqvist. We get rid of our goaltending situation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Oilers fans, we had no other choice but to trade one of them. It's going to hurt us long term possibly, but Boqvist being 20 years old should benefit us very much so long term. So we'll get Ryan Pulock off there and get Adam Boqvist up to that top power play unit. That is going to change things so dynamically for us. So dynamically, it's going to be unreal. You see, he's got 15 power play points already this season. This guy is going to be the generation point on the back end for us, for sure. So guys, you're ready to get the simulation underway. The lines look as such. We're getting ready, we're getting going, and we're going to see what this trade does for us. Of course, that also kind of dooms Chicago now, because you're going to see what their lines look like. Benning's going to be a top pairing guy, I would imagine, in Chicago for the rest of the year. Nothing really changed. Boqvist is still in there, so he's still listed, but he's our guy now. So we just got to hope that trade goes through, and we should be good to go. Of course, they haven't updated things, but we are good. Boqvist now takes over our points lead, and this is where the fun begins. Arizona, Colorado, Ottawa, Arizona, and the trade deadline is right there, so Montreal is going to be our first stop after the trade deadline, but against Arizona, Ottawa is putting Tom Pyatt on waivers. Do we feel like claiming him? I really don't. And now we are getting a chance for a 3rd rounder and a 4th rounder for Patrick Marleau. Don't need Patrick Marleau either. They're really trying to upgrade us now. 5-0 win. Johansson for a 1st round pick straight up. Damn, that is a great deal right there. That is a huge deal for us. Johansson, of course, starting to lose his spot, but we're not about to give him up yet. We've got a mission to win the Stanley Cup, and we're going to get there. Johansson for a 1st from Boston, man. They are getting desperate in the Eastern Conference to get Marcus Johansson back there. 4-1 loss to the Colorado Avalanche. That's not exactly what we can be affording. 4-1 loss to the Ottawa Senators. I don't know. Is Adam Boqvist really be doing that well for us? 6-4 loss. Oh my. 3-game losing streak. That kind of sets us back quite a step now, doesn't it? We're still atop the Pacific Division. Boqvist, 61 points in 62 games played. So you can't blame Boqvist. He's getting his 3 points in 4 games played. You see Connor McDavid 55, Draisaitl 48, Johansson 43, Eggenberger up to 41 points on the year, Yamamoto up to 35. So guys are scoring good amounts of points. Clefbaum up to 21. Guys are looking great. It is the problem. This team is a minus team. We score on the power play, and that's about it as it gets going. So 17 is Boqvist, but he's down 5 points on the plus minus at this point after those 4 games. Kind of question markable, right? That top line is a question mark for sure in the plus minus category. So let's go see what we need the rest of the way through March. We have a run of Pacific Division opponents. We'll go another 4 games and see what this team is going to look like down the stretch. 4-3 against Montreal, against Calgary 7-4. The offense is coming in huge. 4-0 win. Oh yes sir, that feels very, very good. Keep current ticket prices. We'll do it for the season ticket drive, and we'll keep the marketing budget the same. I'm not concerned. That's an off-season thing for sure. 3-0 win. Suddenly we get back-to-back shutout performances out of our goaltenders, and life is looking very good in Edmonton. My Oilers fans, my fellow Oilers fans, of course, being your general manager, I am a fan just the same as you. Boqvist up to 66 points. This guy could potentially lead the NHL in points this season. McDavid up to 63, Draisaitl to 53, Nuge 49, Puljujarvi 47, Johansson 45, Eggenberger 44, Yamamoto 40. Like, this team is starting to score points at an all-time high, and you see Peyton Krebs right there with 29 points. He is up still at a 79. That's not exactly where I want him. I want him higher than that, but we're not quite getting that. So let's see if we can reconfigure the offense next episode. So what I want you guys to do is set your lineups in the comments section down below. We're going to go 2 more games, get us up to hopefully 44 wins, and call it quits for today's episode. Shootout loss and a 4-1 victory. That is huge. That is gold. That gets us going. So all of a sudden we sit atop the Pacific Division at 89 points this year, and the Chicago Blackhawks 39 wins, 22 losses, 7 overtime losses, 85 points. So they aren't that far behind us now, are they? No, not at all. They are doing really good as well. So this is interesting to see Boqvist continues his streak of points per game, 68 points in 68 games played. And let's go see what Boqvist actually is all about for us. He's an 89. We're getting a better scout on him. He's medium elite. Yes, we know that much. And you see his stats are looking absolutely unreal. Offensive defenseman with 97 offensive awareness. This kid is going to be your captain should Connor McDavid move on from the Oilers at any point. That is guaranteed. I give you my word. I 100% give you my word. Now, we'll move Eggenberger up. But guys, I want to know what your thoughts are on the lineup the rest of the way home. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's Edmonton Oilers franchise mode here on Dolynny TV. I am your general manager, Tyson. I will catch you guys in the next one.